with no further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. The first one I'm going to answer is one I already answered this morning that kind of gave me this idea. So it's not up here, but it was about pain. I can't remember word for word, but the gist of it was, will physical pain interfere with meditation practice or make it harder or make it impossible? And I think that's a legitimate fear. I myself have chronic pain. I've got rheumatoid arthritis. It is under control. A lot of times I'll wake up at night with my feet hurting. And I explained it to my doctor that it was like Andre the Giant squeezing both of my feet between his big meaty paws, you know? And if you suffer from chronic pain and it's bad, I could definitely see how that could be a distraction from meditation, or definitely how you would fear that it would be a distraction from meditation. On the flip side of that coin, you can use it as a way to help you get into meditation. If you've watched anything on this channel, or, if you meditate and you follow this kind of stuff, you already know that one of the ways through your emotions, and we're going to get to that in a minute, is to just feel them directly, face them directly. I'd say it's similar with physical pain. Oh, some ways more difficult, in some ways less, I don't know. Either way, physical pain is real. Suffering is mostly in the mind. It's the thoughts around it. It's the how am I going to take this? How can I endure? And I totally get it. If you get in whatever you do to kind of start getting into your meditative state, I just like to sit quietly and observe my surroundings, either internally or externally, without criticism or judgment. What I do with the pain is, and the more, like with any of this stuff, the more you practice, the more it becomes automatic and all the time. Or at some point, it just all, and whatever. But focus on the pain. Feel the pain. Don't run from it. Don't try to ignore it. It's there. Make friends with it. I've heard people put it that way. But probably if you're just trying to, ignore it or whatever, it's not going to help. And this might not either, but it helps me. Eventually, if you can just get to this spot where the pain, like it's the same with the anxiety or jealousy or anger or whatever, ignore the thoughts bubbling up around it. Eventually, the pain will just become an experience that's happening and not something you've got to worry about. It's just another going on, another thing popping up in the field of life or whatever, however you like to think about it. But you can become one with that pain and just roll with it, I hope that helps. All right. Now let's look at these over here. My thoughts have ruined relationships with family and colleagues. How do I silence my negative thoughts and develop a more positive outlook in life? I wanted to answer this one. I have kind of just scrolled through here, but not too much. There's a whole lot of them on there, but I wanted to answer this one because it seemed like coming from a real person who might need some help. Because sometimes you don't always know if these are bots or what, but my thoughts have ruined relationships with family and colleagues. I would probably start with examining ruined part there. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. Maybe that's just a thought surrounding all of this. I know there were times in my past where I thought a relationship that I might have done something that ended relationships. Turns out, no, the people were way more forgiving and understanding than I could possibly ever imagine. So maybe that's the case. But what you really want to know, I guess, is how do I silence my negative thoughts and develop a more positive outlook in life? I wouldn't think of these thoughts as positive or negative. It's kind of hard to do at first, or it might seem strange. But when you practice observing your thoughts, when you sit quietly and just, you don't try to think. You don't try not to think. You're just trying to be as still and quiet as possible without judgment. And these thoughts come that you're not in control of. You don't know where they're coming from. Your subconscious, outer space. I don't know. But if you can't control them, why are you labeling them positive or negative? They're just something that happens. And they're not something you have to act on. We're talking about thoughts that give you like feelings of anxiety or anger. If you're ruining relationships, maybe there's jealousy or anger there. Feel the feeling as soon as it starts to happen. Takes practice, probably, again. Don't act on it. Get yourself to some place where you can sit and feel the physical feeling of that anger or jealousy or anxiety or sadness or hurt. Works with anything. Don't judge it. Let the thoughts bubble up. They're gonna be chattering. Your mind's gonna do its thing. That's what it's there for. That's what it does. It's nonstop. Pay it no mind. Not doing you any favors. Pay it no mind. Pay your mind no mind. The feeling will dissipate faster that way. Honestly. And when that's done, if you still feel like you need to, go back and look at what triggered it. What triggered these thoughts and these emotions from you. Don't stop with your first answer, because that's going to be, well, Bill said I couldn't sing, or I can't cook as well as my aunt and it makes me jealous. It's probably deeper than that. Usually it's somewhere along the lines, if you got to break it down to something simple as I want things to be one way and they're not. Or I want a person to feel a certain way and they don't. I want a person to behave a certain way and they don't. And that person might be you, even. You're not in control of everything. You're not in control of much. So, definitely not in control of other people. What you can control, inside you, what's going on. How much peace there is in there. And so, yeah, these practices of sitting quietly, seeing what these triggers are, letting yourself feel your feelings, that's a good way. I would say I would say the key point here, we're talking about these feelings, or one of the key points. Do not bury them or run from them. Again, whether it's anger, anxiety, or sadness, I'm not saying to act on them, just to feel them. The hardest one not to act on, well, panic and stuff like that can be, but anger, for a lot of people, seems to demand immediate action of some kind. So you've got to catch what those triggers are. This conditioning is what Krishnamurti called it, and others. And it is conditioning, programming. It's just things we reinforce over a lifetime that come from places we don't even know or can't even remember the origin of these sort of responses. Slow down enough to see what's going on there. I'm going to do a whole video on the shadow self. I'm making it simple one of these days. But yeah, don't bury them, because you can't. You try to bury those quote unquote negative emotions, they will reappear in the worst possible ways. Okay. I've got something working. I have to answer these when I do with a talk to text anyway because of arthritis. So I've got something here kind of recording this talk to text, and I'll go back and put these into Quora later for these folks. If it doesn't work right, I'll figure something out. Okay. What negative emotions motivate us? What negative emotions demotivate us? And why? Two-parter. Again, why are you looking at these emotions as negative? They're there for a reason. Can't control them anyway. No one can control their emotions. Better luck probably controlling your thoughts. I love emotions. It's the one thing everyone has in common. Certain spectrum of emotions. We've all been sad, happy, whatever. You'd think that alone would be enough to make us realize certain things. But I keep getting distracted. What negative emotions motivate us? What negative emotions demotivate us? And why? I guess you're talking about negative emotions like jealousy might motivate you to make more money or to become a better basketball player or something like that. Anxiety or fear or depression might demotivate you to not do a lot, lay around a lot, whatever it happens to be. I'd start with probably asking yourself why one of those things are better than the other. Why is making more money and beating someone at basketball better than resting, letting yourself heal up and deal with what you've got to deal with on the inside, which is often just what depression or anxiety or something is. I mean, it might be some shadow work. It might be some stuff that's going on externally that you've got to deal with. I put that in quotes. I don't want to be flippant about that. Externally, everything you're dealing with is really internally. And that's one of the first breakthroughs I think people have to make if they're going to get rid of their anxiety and that kind of stuff, is that nothing from the outside is coming to save you. No one is coming to, it can help you. Only you can face your fears. Good news, it's not that hard. The idea of doing it is much harder than actually doing it. So yeah, I would say that sometimes you need that rest. And maybe sometimes you do need to be motivated a little bit, but I don't know if jealousy or anger or whatever is the best way to do it. But again, those emotions are there to teach you something and to just feel and live and have and explore, enjoy even. It's the pesky thoughts that get in the way of enjoying almost anything. Again, I would say, don't bury your thoughts. That's when the shadow self comes around. And I would also say don't live your life, or try not to live your life. I used to tell my writing students this back when I still did that. Don't live your life with the if-when sort of mindset. If I graduate high school and when I go to college, I'll be happy because I'll be away from this place. Uh-oh. When I graduate college and finally get a good job and have some money, then everything will be okay. Uh-oh. Well, when I find someone to fall in love and get married, then I'll be happy. Then I'll finally have peace. Well, when I have kids. Well, when I get this promotion. How about when I retire? The next thing you know, you're 2 minutes from your grave, and I guess it's, well, when I'm dead, maybe then I'll be at peace. But you can have it before death, my friends. All right. Yeah. Be in the here and now. Hmm. This one is phrased interesting way. Can you value peace of mind as an intangible asset? Well, of course you can. I mean, it's tangible to me. It's my greatest asset, or it can be. I wouldn't trade it for all the money in the world. I've been poor. I've been middle class. Never been rich. I've been healthy. I've been physically unhealthy. Nothing's better than peace of mind. The idea that the next thing or something else or something that's not right here, right now is going to make you happy is a form of torture, because it's not. Might give you a little dopamine rush, endorphin rush for a second, but okay. A lot of negative thought and emotion ones today. How do you find out your core fears? I'm going to get to that a little bit when we talk about the shadow self. I will get back to that one. Grim C. Lindsay. That one will be answered. But more time than I have left right now. Oh. Where does the mind come from? Is it like an antenna? Well, most people think it's like a TV. It's just in there, it's doing its thing, or it's like a little computer. When you start observing your thoughts, sometimes it can feel more like an antenna. You're just picking up on these radio waves or whatever you want to call them. Where are they coming from? The most rewarding answer I can give to this question probably is to have a look for yourself. Again, sit still, sit silently, and try to see where your mind comes from. Not in an intellectual way, by saying, well, I've got this and there's some neurons and blah blah blah. See if you can pinpoint on the inside. See if you can feel it. Where does that sense of you come from? So I'm thinking by the mind, you mean your thoughts, maybe even your emotions, but usually people mean their thoughts that come through. Where do those thoughts seem to be originating from? What seems to come before them? Is there anything before them? And try this. Ask yourself a question sometimes when your mind's quiet, and see if you know the answer before the words form. Your mind is going to go ahead and form the words anyway. If you can slow down, pay enough attention, see if you know. That's all. Fun. Either way, it's fun. It's good practice. All right. Where does the mind come from? We'll look and see. I'll try one more. How do I stop my mind while spinning out of control? Well, I've answered versions of that, but I will get back to that one for that person personally. Well, all right, I don't want to waste your time scrolling through these if I don't see one I can really answer just yet. Maybe I will do something on resentment one of these days. Aha. Oh, right below the last one. Is be in the moment the most important advice you can give someone? Yes. Yep. If you got any questions for me, folks, please post them again on any video you want. Thank you for watching. If you did, it's my first live stream. All right. Shine on, everybody.